All right, so since we're already deep into another project, we're just gonna show you what I've already done that you would have to do. So basically, you're gonna want to drain the coolant, so you gotta remove the undercover, and then there's the Phillips plug, drain the coolant in the radiator, and then you can just disconnect the upper rad hose and these two hoses that go to the fill tank. And basically, that's all we've done so far, and now we're going to be going underneath and undoing the lower rad hose and the connectors and whatnot, so that we know what to do when we're removing this radiator. Okay, so the undercover's off, coolant's drained. I'm just gonna disconnect the two connectors for each fan. There's one on either side.
Mickey Mouse.
Whoa!
Mickey Mouse, he's here.
He's here to play.
So gross. That's so gross.
What are we doing now, Harry?
Somebody cut these hoses very bad.
Next is the lower rad hose. So it's just two hose clamps. Both have 8mm head on them. So we're just gonna crack those babies. Like this. We're gonna have a little, probably still a little coolant in here. So you wanna have your catch pail below you. Back down where I'm from. This is where Dax has been evaporating a lot of his coolant. I got no space, Captain. A sploosh splash, I was taking a bath. Yeah. Move. Examine the beautiful cut here. Yeah, that looks real good. Next on the list, let's just get this coolant reservoir out of the way. We can just pull this overflow tube out. And this just pushes in, and you're able to pull that guy out. And then that just comes out. This nub here sits down in a hole on the fan bracketry. Gonna undo the two 12 mils that hold the radiator supports on. Now just lift those off, set those aside. And now they just say lift to the left and out. Bye-bye, old radiator. AC delete continued. Just gonna pull these hoses off and get this condenser out of here and these hoses out of here. The 10 mil. Probably another 3 pounds. All right, so we got the old radiator out of the car here. Now we're just gonna swap over the fan assembly onto the new radiator. It's just got 4 10mm bolts that hold the overflow hose and hold the fan assembly to the radiator, and then it just lifts out from a couple little tabs. That's a 12mm. Mishimoto one. Don't want to damage the cooling fins. cleaned the bolts up a little bit because there was a bunch of corrosion on them and I just didn't want to put any corrosion into the fresh aluminum. So we're just gonna go ahead and put these bolts back on. Put a dab of this silicone grease on the rubber. Helps prevent it from wearing out. All right, back in the rad goes. Oh, just fell in there like a glove. And just a note, the fans look the same, but they're not the same. So you want to make sure you orientate the fan that has the coolant reservoir hold-in bracketry on the driver's side. Dax went ahead and ordered some new top mounts. So it looks a little nicer, better color match. These are the rubber grommets. You just need to push them through the bottom side and switch them over to the other brackets. A little grease on these guys too. You can even wipe it off with a rag. It just cleans off. Basically just cleans it right up. All right, we just went and cleaned these up with some silicone lubricant. I'm gonna put them aftermarket brackets, like so. All right, we got our brackets back over here. And it comes with new hardware, two washers, 2 bolts, and it's used as a 5mm Allen key. Comes with 2 different size fittings. It tells you inside of the bag what fitting fits what model and year of vehicle. For the STI, we use the smaller nipple. I just put some thread sealant on it. And she just goes right in the top here. Thread it in by hand as far as you can. Looks like it just bottoms out in there, and we'll find out if she leaks. At least it's easy to access for later. Okay, we've got it bolted down. We're just going to install the reservoir. It just pushes into the hole on the fan. There. And then just slides in this way. And we're just gonna clip it in. Feed the overflow hose back in. So it looks like the drain on this one is actually in the same place as the old drain. We're just gonna use some electrical cleaner, clean out the connectors. This is the drain on the Mishimoto radiator. We just checked to verify it was tight, and it was not tight. So we're just gonna actually pull this O-ring off, put a little lube on it, and we're gonna reinstall it and make sure it's tight. really small amount of dielectric grease on these electrical connectors. If you don't want to put too much, it can hydraulic the terminals out of their place. All right, so something that you should do if you're using the stock fan assembly, the connector, this connector lives right up here and it rubs against the timing cover. So to release this, you need to slide a little terminal tool in, and there's a little nub here so that it pulls it away from that plastic, and then it comes off this direction. So we're just gonna put it here and zap strap it to the fan here, and then it won't be rubbing on the timing cover. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and replace the thermostat also while we're in here. That's just two 10mm bolts. Thermostat housing comes off, and then there's just a thermostat in there with the seal. We got the thermostat housing out. This is your thermostat. It just has this rubber seal on it. We just went to Lordco and picked up a thermostat for this vehicle. It's a Gates product. We're just gonna clean this surface up where the hose seals and also where the flange seals on the engine. I'm just gonna take the seal off of the new thermostat. And I'm just gonna put some lubricant on it. Dirty. You just make sure that goes back on properly in the groove. Okay, we got all the surfaces cleaned, O-ring lubricated. We're just gonna go ahead and put her back in. You want to make sure that it doesn't fall out while you're putting the housing on, because you can then damage your seal if you're tightening it. Okay, so we got our thermostat on. Now we're just gonna install the lower rad hose. Okay, so she just sits like that. And I just put these hose clamps on how I wanted them orientated. So I'm gonna tighten that one there and tighten this one up here. Makes it looks good and easy to access. All right, I don't tighten them down with the gun, but it's just nice that you can quickly get it to exactly where you want it before the final torque. They're 9/32, these Mishimoto hose clamps. Now we're just installing the upper radiator hose. We tried it both the both ways and chose this way was gonna be the best way, with the bend slightly towards the center of the vehicle. So we'll just put it on here first. Dax went ahead and got a Subaru temperature sensor. Asked them for a thermostat, they gave him a temp sensor. So we're changing it. Okay, so you can just remove the temp sensor from this top pipe. Might be kind of hard to access when you have the alternator and everything back together, but we'll take a look once we put it back together. Even right now, it looks like it might be kind of hard with that other sensor in the way. I guess we're gonna use a wrench.
Tell the people how you feel about this.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. You can't access with a deep socket, so if you had a semi-deep, you might be able to make it work. But you need a deep to be able to go over top of the connector, but then to get a ratchet on it, this sensor's in the way. So you might have to remove this sensor if you want to get at it with everything in place. So I had to use a wrench even with this much access. So if you're doing this job, I recommend replacing your temp sensor. And the last step for us today would be just to install your two hoses that come from your filler tank onto these two hoses, onto the nipples. And that's how it would sit. And then we will be showing you later how we fill it and bleed the system. All right, so this is the end of our episode 4 for the Mishimoto coolant upgrade. We've replaced the radiator, the temperature sensor, the thermostat and seal, both upper and lower rad hoses. And we will be installing an IAG oil air separator, which also does have some coolant going into it. You can see that in our episode 6, which is gonna be the episode after the next episode. Episode this, episode that, we got episodes. Stay tuned. Next episode, episode 5, we're gonna be showing you how to install the phenolic spacers, the TGV deletes, the intake manifold back onto the engine. And for the end of this one, guys, just like, subscribe, comment down below. We wanna hear your feedback and hope you enjoyed this film.